Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Lydia here. The other day I had this conversation with my neighbor. She asked me, what would you do differently if you have unlimited amount of money? What would you do? I didn't even think that much. I just replied, I think I'm just gonna do what I'm doing now, but maybe with less stress. That answer really surprises myself even, because it's probably the first time that I get to say this so full-heartedly. I wouldn't change anything. I do enjoy what I'm doing now. It's very hard, but first time in my life, my work and my why has finally aligned. So this got me thinking, it's really crucial to find your why, especially on our journey to find our career. Find out about ourselves, find out who we are, find out what kind of career paths that actually works for us and what energize us, what can keep us going when things are really hard. So it will be something that's not only guide you through your career, but also gives you meaning and purpose throughout your life. And this is what I'm gonna talk about today, to talk you through how to find your why for your dream career, also at the same time help myself. So in this video, I'm gonna guide you through several tips and practices I have adopted throughout this year to find my why, which is really helpful for myself, and I think it'll be helpful for you, which including one very powerful tool. It's a write your own imaginary obituary practice that I actually learned from Ali Abdaal's productivity lab in his live session. I found it really helpful. So if you're on a journey to find your North Star or find your purpose and find your why, stick around. I promise you this video will be worth of your time. So Alfred Nobel's story, maybe everyone knows or maybe you don't know, but basically he's a Swedish chemist, engineer and inventor of the dynamite, what basically is associated with destruction and death. So in 1888, his brother passed away, but a French newspaper actually mistaken himself to his brother, so they wrote an obituary for him, and then he read it alive, what people was going to say about him when he passed away. That really shocked and deeply troubled how he's gonna remember. So that thing lead to another, he just decided to rewrite his will and dedicating a bulk chunk of his fortune into nowadays what we know as Nobel Prize, to really advance the human knowledge and technology development in science and everything else. That a lot of the history has been changed just because of that. So I think it's a very powerful example of how our own legacy, when we're really in our day-to-day, we don't really have the time to reflect that. Maybe just it's worth just to take 10-15 minutes to do that. So that's the imaginary obituary practice. It's very easy to do. Like basically find a space that you can be relaxed and open to yourself. Let's dive right into the imaginary obituary practice. It might sound a little bit difficult to imagine that, but it's actually a very powerful tool. I've done it with my friends several times, and let's see how you can do it. It's very simple. Basically, you ask yourself 3 questions. Imagine that you're writing your own obituary, like how other people want to remember you. And the 3 questions are, first, how did your work impact others? Second is, how did you personally impact the people close to you? How did you make them feel? And the third is, who was the real you? Usually in that practice, we usually take a few minutes and just close your eyes. Don't overthink it, just write down everything, let your mind flow. Once you've written down it, I have done it several times, and whenever I look back, it doesn't matter, you can do it every several months just to see, because things have changed and maybe your goal has changed, but it's always nice to see where you are in life to be aligned with the goal that you value. I've done it several times. I think at the beginning, my prompt, I would just be like, this is what I want. For example, I want to make an impact. I want to make something. I want to do something good for the planet. I want to use what I learned as an ex-investment banker to also help the people who are helping the planet. And then I also want to write about, like, just let the imaginary flow. For example, this write your own obituary practice. You can say, my work impact others because I am helping the planet to fight climate change. I love traveling. I love getting to new places and new experience. around me, I like this. People around me love spending time, love sharing their own stories with me. They always enjoy me being present and feel safe when talking to me. I love traveling, I love getting to new places and new experience. Authentic when I feel an intelligent connection in life. The prompt you can give it to ChatGPT is like, look, I'm writing an imaginary obituary for myself. These are all the bullet points that I want to touch and mention. Can you write it in whatever tone, just plug in your tone. Like, depending on how long you've been using ChatGPT, you can also say, knowing what you know me now, what else details you will add. And yeah, I think eventually you will just come up with a really nice and not too long paragraph. You can see what matters to you, really put it on paper and how that impacts your life. I've done it several times. I'm always happy to see how it turns out. It sometimes even makes me think, oh, if I can actually achieve that in my lifetime, that's really, really good. And it's also a way to remind ourselves what's more important to us in life. And then you can either ask ChatGPT's help or just do it yourself, it doesn't matter. I just like the way that ChatGPT sometimes is just really good about writing stuff. That's the imaginary obituary practice. So the next one is, what would you do even if you know that you're going to fail? It's a nice practice because it shows that what you're passionate about, disregard the outcome. We will fail, of course, a lot of things in life, especially when you're trying something new. But I think this prompt is so helpful is because like it really gives you a blank space just to imagine what would you do. So, and also gives you a motivation to think what is something that you really hold on to and passionate about. So the other way is, what would you do if you know that you couldn't fail? This is actually just to find out more items or things that you want to do and find out the more things that you want to do. Because if you know something that you couldn't fail, if you decided to do it, then you wouldn't hold back. So it can give you more space to think of what is the why. And for me, I think when I went through that practice, it's actually the same thing. So I hope I'm on the way that actually I have found my why. I think every day is a work in progress and everything is changing. So I hope I can still say the same thing maybe in a few months or in a few years. But this is just to share how I found it. The other tip is, always remember how you feel. I think a lot of the times we don't remember how we feel. We just remember that we are either tired or not energetic, especially in a very traditional work environment, and we don't allow us to have the space to think, to reflect of the day. But one thing I found it very interesting is like nowadays, because I'm working on all of the projects that I'm passionate about every day, I still work relatively long hours compared to what I used to work in a bank before. But now, just because I'm working on something that I'm very personally driven and motivated about, even when times are tough, even when things are difficult, I still feel energized whenever I'm working on the project itself. Of course, I'm just a human being. We're all just like a human being. We're not machines. Sometimes we do get tired, and it's very important to relax and recharge. But then right after I get back to it, whenever I recharge, I feel this flow state's way easier to come to me, rather than in the past I have to force myself to sit down and work. So that's what I mean, remember how you feel. And yeah, so that's the end of the video. I hope this tips really helps you to find the why in your life. It is a journey. I think it does take time, but I think the more you think about it, the better you'll be, and the next time and the next time. So just to keep reflecting your experience and what you really care and how you feel day in and day out. And if you do try the obituary practice, do leave a comment down below so we can know what's your experience and if you like it or not. And it's good to show other people that it works or it doesn't work. And if you have another way to find your why, please do also share with us as well. Thanks for watching. If you find this video helpful, give us a like. It really helps the channel a lot. And also share with your friends and family if you haven't subscribed. and subscribe to the channel. We'll have more content like this to have a more meaningful and memory-rich life. I will see you next time.